All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving headfirst into the one operating system that you'll find in the toolkit of almost every cybersecurity pro out there, Kali Linux. So, let's kick things off with a simple question. If you were an ethical hacker, what would be your OS of choice? Yeah, you probably guessed it. It's the one we're going to tear down and explore today, Kali Linux.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we'll figure out what exactly Kali Linux is. Then we'll build our own safe little lab to play in. After that, it's all about the command center, learning our first commands, and finally, getting the keys to the kingdom, understanding how the whole system is controlled.
All right, first things first. What is Kali Linux? What makes it the go-to digital toolkit for hackers?
Well, at its heart, Kali is a special flavor of Linux. It's built on top of Debian, which is known for being super stable and reliable. But here's the thing, you shouldn't think of it like your everyday Windows or Mac OS. Nope. It's more like a Swiss Army knife that's been specifically engineered for one job, security.
And to really get Linux, you have to get what the kernel is. It's the core, the absolute brain of the operation. It's the translator that lets your software, like a web browser, talk to your actual hardware, your computer's memory, its processor, everything. When you click something, the kernel is what's making the physical stuff happen. It's that bridge between your commands and the machine's real-world actions.
So why do so many people use Kali? Well, this number right here is a huge reason. Over 1,600. That's how many specialized tools come baked right into the system, ready to go from the moment you install it.
And we're not just talking about one kind of tool here. It's like having a whole garage full of different toolboxes. You've got your tools for penetration testing, trying to find weaknesses in a network. You've got tools for security research, digital forensics for digging up evidence, reverse engineering, the whole shebang. It's an entire arsenal.
Okay, so we know what it is. Now let's actually build ourselves a safe lab to play around in. And the key word here is safe. We're going to set this up so it doesn't touch or mess with your main computer at all.
You've really got two paths you can take. Bare metal is the hardcore option. You'd wipe your entire machine and install Kali as the only operating system. I do not recommend that for beginners. The way to go for sure is a virtual machine, or VM. It's exactly what it sounds like. You're running a virtual computer right inside a window on your current OS. It's a perfect isolated sandbox.
And getting this lab set up is actually super easy. It's just a few steps. First, you'll go to the official Kali.org site and download what's called an image file. Then, you'll install a free program to run it. Something like VMware or VirtualBox works great. You just tell that program where the file is, click a button, and boom, you've got a fully working Kali Linux system running in a window.
All right, our lab is built. Now it's time to step into the command center. This is where the real power of Kali is unlocked. I'm talking about the terminal.
Now, this is maybe the single most important idea you need to wrap your head around with Linux. Ready? In Linux, everything is treated as a file. A text document is a file, a program is a file, even your mouse is treated like a file. And the terminal? That's your master key to interact with all of them directly and powerfully.
So you can think of the whole file system like a giant tree, or maybe a city map. The single forward slash, that's the absolute starting point. It's called the root. Everything else branches off from there. You've got important neighborhoods or directories like /bin, which is where your essential commands live. /xt is where all the system-wide settings are kept. And /home, well, that's where you live. It's where all your personal files are stored.
Okay, enough talk. Let's get our hands on the keyboard and learn a few of the absolute must-know survival commands for getting around.
Seriously, before you do anything else in a new Kali system, you have to run these two commands. It's step one, always. Sudo opt update basically phones home and asks, hey, what's the latest list of software available? Then sudo opt upgrade takes that list and actually downloads and installs all the new versions. This makes sure your entire toolkit is up to date and secure from the get-go.
Now for your three new best friends, these are the commands you'll use constantly. First up is pwd, for print working directory. It just tells you where you are right now. Think of it as your GPS. Then there's ls, which lists everything in the directory you're in, files, folders, you name it. That's your map. And finally, cd, for change directory. That's how you actually move around. With just those three, you can get anywhere in the system.
And once you can navigate, you'll want to start building things, right? mkdir lets you make a new directory or folder. Touch is a super quick way to just create a new blank file. And rm, well, that's for when you want to delete something. Just like that, you can build, create, and remove the whole structure of your digital world.
Okay, let's get into the final and honestly one of the most important parts of this whole thing. We're talking about the keys to the kingdom, users and permissions. This is all about who gets to do what, and it is the absolute foundation of security in Linux.
You see, on your system, there are basically two kinds of users. There's your regular day-to-day user. By default, that's Kali. This account has limited powers, and that's for your own safety. Then, there's the super user, also known as root. The root user is all-powerful. It can do literally anything on the system, which is why it's also kind of dangerous. You don't log in as root. Instead, you use that sudo command we saw to temporarily borrow its power for one command at a time.
So, you know that ls command we learned? If you type ls-l, that's L for long, you get this super detailed view. And that weird-looking string of letters at the very beginning, that's the important part. That is the permission string, and it tells you, plain as day, who is allowed to read this file, who can write to it, and who can execute it.
And here's where it gets really cool and, honestly, kind of simple. We can represent those permissions with numbers. Just remember 3 values. Read is 4, write is 2, and execute is 1. That's it. You just add them up to get the permission you want. So if you want someone to be able to read and write, what's that? It's 4 plus 2, which is 6. Full access, read, write, and execute. 4 plus 2 plus 1, that's 7.
So how do we use this? With a command called chmod, which is short for change mode. So if you see a command like chmod 755, you can now decode it. The first number is for the owner, the second is for the group, and the third is for everyone else. So 755 means the owner gets a 7, full access. The group and everyone else get a 5, which is read and execute. With this one simple command, you become the gatekeeper of your system. And this stuff is crucial because getting just one permission wrong on an important file can be a huge security risk.
And just like that, you've got the fundamentals down. You know how to get around, how to manage files, and how to control who does what. And that means the door is now open to that entire arsenal we talked about, all 1,600 plus tools. A great place to start exploring is a tool called Nmap, which is a super powerful utility for scanning networks and seeing what's out there.
So look, you now have the keys to your very own lab. You have the map, you know the basic commands, you understand the rules of the road. The whole environment is sitting there waiting for you. So the only real question left is, what are you going to explore first?